Today I want to give you a look into a new calendar that I picked up recently that is for the year 2026, and I'm going to show you the reason I picked it up and what it is that I like about it. This particular calendar is by the Everygirl. It's by Day Designer. It is a January 26th through December 26th. And you notice here at the top here, it's got this big plastic piece here that's pretty sturdy that's going to protect the cover from any spills or anything like that. And then inside you've got this cover that's a laminated cover with a pretty neutral gray floral here on the back. And then inside you've got a page for some stickers that you can use, which I always like stickers. It gives you a place you can use the dollar signs to pay your bills and indicate what day you got paid on. Anything that you need to check if you've got coffee dates with people, or just little things that you want to use. I happen to really like stickers. I'm a big sticker girl myself. Then it has a page here that's got a pocket, and it's got the pocket actually on both sides, which I really like. That would give you a place to store any coupons, any notes to yourself, anything like that, and that is something that I really like. And then, of course, you've got your place here to put your date and your name and your cell phone in case your planner, heaven forbid, in case it gets lost. Then I like the fact that you've got a yearly overview. You've got all of 2026 laid out in front of you, plus all of 2027. And then you've got some information here on how to use this planner. And it's got a place for your goals, your action steps, keeping balance, your year, your bucket list, your tabbed monthly calendars, your daily calendars, your monthly review, I'm anxious to look at that, and then the resources. And then over here, you've got a place for your goals for the year. And I like that they've got a bunch of different areas. They've got for your career, for your finances, for your physical health, for your organization, for hobbies, for home, for intellectual growth, etc. So I really like this. It gives you a place in your calendar to put down what your goals are inside your planner. And then this one actually comes with a few extra months here for the end of 2025 so that you could go ahead and start using it. It has July 25 through December. And then it's got a place for you to evaluate this year. Then it's got a place for you to put down some things that are on your bucket list for this coming year that you want to do, whether it's books you want to read, places you want to go, things you want to experience, things you want to do for your home, for your business. And then it's got a someday list, and that is not something that I see very often, but I like that idea. And then it's got a page here. I like this. The point of life is balance, not perfection, because let's be honest, life is never going to be perfect because none of us are perfect. Okay, so you've got this big, nice 2-page spread that you can use. The squares are about 2 inches square. You've got a place to list some notes and things to do, and then it gives you a place in the corner to look back at last month and then to look forward for next month. I personally like to take my monthly view and decorate it according to the season with stickers, but whether you do that or not, that's totally up to you. And then this is the reason that I purchased this calendar. It's got an entire page for each day for you to put out your top 3 things you need to do, personal things you need to do, and then it's got your list of appointments for today, and then it's got your to-do list, and then it's got a place down here for notes. This would be where you could record what you're going to eat for the day, make your meal plan, where you could record any things that you listened to, any meetings that you took, any appointments that you made. If you talk to anybody about anything that you would need to remember later, this gives you a place to do it. So I like that. And up here in personal, it even gives you a place to mark off your water that you're drinking for the day, if that is something that you're trying to track. So you've got a nice big page for every single day that you can use to plan your day, to make sure you get the most important things done, and to keep some notes. I like that a lot. And then, of course, you've got that going on for each of the different days. The reason that I decided to pick this calendar up, because I still use my power sheets and I still use Planner Pad, was I liked the fact that I could add in a little more detail than I could with either of those calendars. Now, Planner Pad, if you've seen any of my other videos on Planner Pad, gives you a great weekly overview, which I will still do and will still keep. But then I will use these daily pages for things like my meal plan, whether or not I exercised, some of my other habits, and some of the notes specifically about things I was doing personally or with other people or within my business. Then when you get to the end of the month, you've got a page here for notes. I like that. You could go back, you could use this page to record any specific events that you would want to refer back to a specific day. This could serve as an index for the prior month, so you would know where to look without having to look through everything at one time. And then you've got a place to look back here. This is your month in review, which I like. Your personal wins, things you learned, ways you took care of yourself, important goals that you met, people that you may have connected with, things that you'll always remember, things you're grateful for, and any key purchases made. I find something like this very helpful. For example, we had a spell this fall where we had to buy several things. We had to buy a new hot water heater. We had to buy a new washing machine. We just had several big things that came up, and this gives you a way to remember and record exactly when you made those purchases. Then you move on to the next month, and you've always got a nice saying here for February: no amount of worrying can change the future. And I wish I had learned that many years ago, because I have been a grade A, ought to be award-winning, Olympic medalist in the worry wording. So it goes through each of your months like that. Again, with your calendar overview, with your daily pages, and then with your review at the end. I feel like these daily pages are going to give me enough room to make the notes that I may need to make and to track things like what I intended to eat and whether or not I stuck to it or whether I deviated from that. It will give me a good place to record any exercise that I did. I could also use this if I wanted to track other health things like whether I took my medications, how my blood sugar's doing, all of those kinds of things. And I like this because the lines are big enough. I'll let you see here. The lines are plenty big enough, and I write kind of big. So sometimes if the lines are too little, they don't work for me as well because my handwriting is larger. And you've got that for the entire year. And I'll just show you back here at the back. This is for December of 2026. I have already done some decorating. I had a book that had stickers for the different months, and I'm going to go through the rest of my calendar and do some decorating as well. But I always sit down at the beginning of the year and I decorate. I put down important dates. For example, my dad will turn 86 next year. It'll be his birthday then. And I just kind of pretty it up and make it cute. There's nothing that says planning and organizing and keeping on track of things cannot be fun and that you cannot enjoy it. In fact, I would advocate that the cuter it is and the more fun you find it, the more likely you are going to be to actually then keep up with that. And I had some extra stickers, so I've even gone through and put them on different dates. And then again, at the end of the year, it's got your monthly review again. And then it's got a place back here for your resources, which is helpful. 8 ways to refresh your entire wellness routine in one day. That's always something that I'm working on trying to improve. Here, money is a key to self-care. 7 tips for your financial wellness. Goodness knows in these days we can all use some tips and some help there. 6 tips for effective communication. And if you have other people in your life, family, friends, etc., communication is always the key to improving those relationships and making them better. Oh, I like this one. 6 green flags. You're becoming your best self. That is one of my major goals as I get older in life, is to try to become the person that I believe I'm capable of becoming and that the greater powers that be would like for me to become. And then Sunday rituals for an amazing week. I'm a big advocate of weekly planning, and I usually do that on Saturday or Sunday. And then the healthiest things women do to reset after a long day. And I don't know a woman alive who probably doesn't have a long day and couldn't stand a repeat. And then at the back, and I had not noticed this before when I purchased it, but 40 positive affirmations. I like that. I know a lot of people, and to be real honest, including me have, they kind of poo-poo and discount the positive affirmations. But I have become an advocate of positive affirmations because I believe that the things we tell ourselves affect the way we behave. They affect our self-concept, how we think about ourselves. And if we are always telling ourselves negative things, which is what most of us are much too prone to do, if we're always telling ourselves negative things, we wouldn't tell our best friend all those negative things, but we will tell ourselves things like, you're too old, you're too ugly, you're not skinny enough, you're not smart enough. We tell ourselves all those negative things, which are not true, and we do not tell ourselves the positive things nearly enough. So I really like the fact that has this back here. And then it's got a page here, looks like it's got 2 or 3 pages of notes that you can have used either during the year or use as an end-of-year reflection to look at how you did for the year and your assessment. And then it's got a place for all the holidays, probably more even than most of us will tend to focus on during the year. And this is a laminated page, it looks like. Not exactly laminated, but it's coated with something. You can see it's a little shiny here. And then, of course, you've got the states of the United States and all of that. So anyway, I like this calendar a lot. I think it's pretty. I'm looking forward to working in it and using it. And I know that some folks would say that I'm probably a little calendar obsessed, which I am. I make no bones about that fact. But like I said, I'll use my power sheets for some overall life assessment, goal planning, and setting intentions for the month. Then I break those things down with my planner pad, and I keep that open on my desk all the time. And this is going to sit right there with it, so I can also take note of the things that I have been just keeping in spiral notebooks, but then I was later scrounging, going back and thinking, well, I know that I did that a few days ago. This is going to help me solve that problem because of the fact that it is dated and will allow me to go back and see what I did that may have been important on a specific date. So anyway, I just wanted to show this to you. I picked this one up at Office Depot. I don't remember the exact cost. It was under 30, but over 25. It seems like it was 26 or 27, something like that. But I think it's going to be a good one. The coils are nice. They're pretty. They do bend just a little bit here, but they're pretty sturdy. They're going to hold up, which is going to mean that I can take this and that I can then fold this back and lay it flat, and I like to be able to do that a lot. So overall, I'm giving this one an A, and I'm looking forward to using this during the next year. Hope this is something that might be helpful to you. If not, at least assess it and determine what the perfect planner and calendar is for you so that you can make the best choice for you. And in the meantime, I hope you tame a little of your frenzy.